Get ready for the next hour. It's your complete breakdown of what everyone is talking about with high school, college, and professional sports. Brought to you by Magnolia Blues, Buckbuster Seed & Company, Sullivan Ford Lincoln, and Clint's Pharmacy. We are live at Magnolia Blues with your show host, Ryan Case, Paden Phillips, and Trey Waterloo with Sports Buzz on B92.1 The Boss.
It's getting hot around here. I keep trying to just make my way.
And happy Labor Day, everybody, to has stumbled across our show here tonight. Welcome to Sports Buzz. This is Paden Phillips alongside Ryan Case and Trey Waterloo. Before we get started, love to always mention our sponsors that will help us put on our show each week. Sullivan Ford Lincoln, Buckbuster Seed Company, Magnolia Blues, and Clint's Pharmacy. So before we get any further into that, a little bit of change of scenery tonight. Labor Day. Can't broadcast, unfortunately, from Magnolia Blues tonight, but we're right across the street. We can see him through this window right here. So we're kind of close.
Doesn't smell like smoked pork in here.
It doesn't, and I miss it. It's
I am hungry.
Yes. So Trey is missing out on that hamburger that he had last week. Is kind of in a just a little unfortunate change of scenery, but we do always want to thank our sponsors, Sullivan Ford Lincoln, Buckbuster Seed Company, Magnolia Blues, and Clint's Pharmacy.
And we will be back at Magnolia Blues next Monday night.
Next Monday night we will be back.
Eating,
eating. Okay,
yeah, enjoying that food. So
very good.
Why don't we just dive right into what we've got planned here tonight? So tonight, for the high school segment, what we've got for you, a really, really special guest coming up here, and just after we get done for the intro and a quick overview of the show, Chris Huffman, who is the District 7 representative of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, is going to be joining us here in the studio, and he is going to be just giving us all the information that he can about how to help the association, how to help these kids, how to just be I guess more knowledgeable of the situation, and probably Ryan, we want to thank you for hooking that up for us.
Yeah, and I personally think that once the community really sees what Chris and FCA is doing, that that there's more support to be garnered out there for sure, because it's really a great thing that they do for athletes, public, private school. He reaches out to the athletes and the coaches, and it's just a really great, unique ministry that, to me, is something that's thinking outside of the box.
Right,
and
And we were talking before the show just how we wanted to designate the show and designate the segments and things like that to make sure that we were giving him the honorable amount of time, and he kept jumping back and forth. But we're actually he's going to get the full 10 minutes. We're going to get to talk to him, and if we go even longer, he's here to get it, because it was a great conversation that we had before the show even went on the air. So it was we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely.
So what do we got for college tonight?
Well, this past Saturday, boy,
we actually had games.
We had
games.
We didn't have to sit here and pontificate about what might happen, And I was telling you guys, it's kind of like trying to drink from a fire, fire faucet. It's just so much fire hose. Yeah, exactly. Just so many good games out there, and kind of have to pick and choose which ones to follow. But was going to start with kind of going over how the local community colleges did. Talk to you all about USM briefly, how they did in their game.
Yeah.
And then I think Trey's probably going to lead the conversation on Ole Miss when we get there. I'm
happy to.
Yeah. And then
win for the Rebels.
Yeah, the Dogs came up big on
Puppies
top.
Won.
Puppies won. Yeah.
And you're forgetting one team. The Razorbacks won.
Oh, yeah.
You talking about the Tigers?
No, it's not the Tigers. The Razorbacks, man.
Oh, Razorbacks. Did they play?
Yeah, they did. They played
Saturday.
Okay. They played well. They won too.
I do feel a little convicted that we haven't talked much about LSU. I just found out Chris is a big LSU fan.
Well,
they had a big
The Tigers looked. The Tigers looked scary.
Yeah, they did.
Of course.
And then
Tide looked scary too.
Yeah,
and then I got a little bit about Alabama. We hadn't talked much about them, but they look pretty scary too in my mind.
I think they kind of come with the territory.
Well,
aren't they scary every year?
Well,
Auburn looked good.
Yeah, I don't guess I watched much
and
of that.
Texas A&M looked good.
No, that's all of them. If they're coming out hot out of the gate, those are usually tune-up games first of the season anyway. Like, for instance, I know the Razorbacks played Eastern Illinois, and that's not someone that's incredibly known about, but, again, across the board, if he were coming out of the gate.
Well, I mean, you had the Rebels played a real team, and then LSU played a real team. And then what? The rest of y'all had little starter games.
Yeah, tune-up games. Get the season kicked off. Anyway, so anything else we got on college there, Ryan?
No, I think that'll kind of cover it. We'll kind of try to hit the high points on the stuff that stood out. So
nice job. So what do we got for pro, Trey?
I think we got a couple things. I'm going to start a conversation a little bit about some news, breaking news in the professional advertising today.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that have happened over the weekend with the NFL teams cutting down from 90 to 53-man roster. A lot of interesting things. Some of the things even that we've forecasted a little bit here on Sports Buzz that came to fruition. So we're going to go through that, give an update on the PGA status and the FedEx Cup playoffs. We'll mention the NASCAR race this weekend, 2 remaining spots in the playoffs at the last regular season race this year. And then we'll give an update from the U.S. Open.
All right. That's our intro for you and what we've got coming up for you on the show. So big guest coming up right after this 2-minute break. Chris Huffman, the FCA representative from District 7, is here in the studio already, and he is going to be giving us some great information coming up right after this quick 2-minute break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Sports Buzz right here on B92.
Looking for a place to catch the game on Saturdays? Come visit Magnolia Blues BBQ Company in Brookhaven. With large TVs all around, you can order from a full menu with the best and the biggest nachos in town. Enjoy Wednesday open mic and live music on the weekends. Let Magnolia Blues take care of your next catering event. Open Monday through Friday 3 to 10 and Saturday 2 to 10. Magnolia Blues BBQ in Brookhaven, 505 West Monticello Street.
Deer hunters, looking for the best fall seed mix on the market? Buckbusters has 36% protein, contains 8 varieties of winter forage in the basic mix, and 11 varieties in the premium mix. One bag does 1 acre. It's specifically formulated for the Southeast. Contact your local seed dealer or Buckbusters at buckbusterseedcompany.com or call toll-free 1-800-562-4570. Buckbusters, the most complete and cost-effective seed mixes available.
There is no better place to get all your local and complete pharmacy needs than at Clint's Pharmacy in Brookhaven. Come inside and visit the best greeting card selection in town, with all cards just 99 cents. But those days you are in a hurry, you can use Clint's convenient and fast drive-through line. Now inside Clint's Pharmacy is Complete Family Medical, a clinic that takes walk-ins to get you in and out. Clint's Pharmacy, 201 Highway 51 North, Brookhaven. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, and Saturday, 8 to noon.
Hello, I'm Lavelle Sullivan with Quick Lane Tire and Auto. If you're looking for a place to service your vehicle, then Quick Lane has you covered. We service all makes and models, whether you're driving a Dodge, a Chevy, Toyota, or a Jeep. We're open on Saturdays, and we're authorized dealer for 13 brands of tires. We offer 90 days same as cash, and no appointment is ever necessary. If you need tires, brakes, batteries, or just an oil change, then Quick Lane's your place. Quick Lane Tire and Auto, next to Walmart, Brookhaven.
Back to Sports Buzz, everybody. Coming to you again live from the station here tonight. Can't live broadcast from the gloriously smelling Magnolia Blues with the hamburgers that Trey misses and the tacos that Ryan misses. But we're coming to you live now from the station right here on
It's
Sports
good to be in the studio,
It is.
though. It's
fun
been
to
raining
get the
big
big
mics out.
Yeah.
I feel like a real show almost.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. So without further ado, we are very, very happy to have a special guest here, and our first guest, like Trey mentioned at the beginning or before the show. This is our first guest on Sports Buzz, and we want to thank Ryan first for getting him here. So Ryan, I want to turn over to you. I want you to let him know who is here with us tonight.
Yeah, so Chris Huffman's here with us with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I've known Chris for several years. He's been a friend of me and my family's for several years. He's helped most of the family at the gym except for me. I refuse to go in there. He's been a great friend, a great encourager to my family and my kids, and just real glad to have Chris with us this afternoon. Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Well, I'll let I'll let Chris tell us about that. But Chris, can you just maybe give us kind of the helicopter overview of what FCA is, what it does? Somebody that has no idea, never heard of it before.
Yeah, absolutely, and I just want to say what an honor it is to be with you guys tonight, man. We're having some fun in the studio for sure. Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Wow, what an amazing ministry. What I love about it is that it attaches two of the things that I'm passionate about: sports and faith, and we're able to take this to the world essentially. What our vision is to see the world transformed by Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes. And so what we're doing is we're bringing Jesus, we're bringing faith onto the campus, and that's what it's all about. Getting into their world. Whenever you get into their world, they actually see that, hey, this guy actually cares, or so it's a great time.
Well, and you mentioned just as we were talking earlier, what is the reach that specifically that you have? It's not just Lincoln County or Brookhaven. What is your area?
Yeah, I have the pleasure of serving 8 counties, and it's all in Southwest Mississippi, and which entails 160,000 people in those counties, 25,000 of which are students. And then followed suit by hundreds of coaches. Each particular school they'll have range anywhere from 7 to 12 different coaches on their coaching staff on the campus. And so that's
how many miles are you putting on your car?
A lot, brother. we're keeping the roads rolling. But one of the things that I'm appreciative for, because this is my second year, full year, going into it. And last year, I'll be honest with you, it was just really a year of just figuring out what is this thing called FCA, and continue to spread the message and the vision of and to communicate that. But I did feel, an inch deep and 300 miles wide. And but this year, my focus is going to be a lot more. I guess intimate, if you would, where I'm focusing on 10 schools, still have the reach out into those all those different counties, but I'm really going to be focusing in on about 10 different schools, particularly in Lincoln County and some in Capaya, some at Pike, and but with the hope of continue to raise up, other representatives, other directors. With FCA.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you have some support staff that help you cover that, or are you pretty much the only kind of full-time?
Me, myself, and I, and the beautiful job of the Holy Spirit, man. That's how we roll, man. But that's long-term vision. Absolutely, we have within the state, we have over 40 staff, and so we're going to continue to grow, and that is our hope. And that is our prayer, and it goes back to what Scripture says: the harvest is white hot, but the workers are few. And we're believing that God's going to raise up some individuals and some volunteers and some sponsors and some coaches, to come alongside. And I can tell you about many stories. And one guy that came on at the same time that I did was a baseball coach from Florence, and he retired, and he just had a heart. For FCA, and next thing you know, he comes on staff with us, so it's a retired coach, that understands it, has been in the locker rooms his entire life, and so it's a good time.
What was it for you that the Lord did in your life, or that opened your eyes to that? Hey, not only do I want you to be a missionary, but I want you to specifically be a missionary to come alongside coaches and student athletes in Mississippi. How did that come about?
Sports has been very a very integral part of my life since I was able to dribble a ball. Itty bitty basketball way back in the day, and baseball, and all stars and all this. So that was a big part of it, and then of course you attach the faith aspect into that. At the same time, I kind of what we were sharing a little bit earlier, I did have the opportunity to go to a Christian school. However, I didn't really understand that you could bridge both of those two, that you can combine sport and faith together. And so I was able to compartmentalize. And so there was a time whenever I did that, and then I really turned let me say it like this: I didn't develop who I was and mature as a disciple and character. And so whenever issues started happening, things started coming, character was revealed. And so because of that, I didn't have a solid foundation into that. And that's why I'm passionate about FCA, passionate about sports, because it does, hey, you can learn some amazing things, through sport and faith, and understanding that, character is, and even adversity, makes it stronger. And so because of adversity in our lives, view it in the lens of, of strength training. Whenever we get broke down, whenever we lift, heavy things repeatedly, that's when we're getting stronger and stronger. And so those the same, trials are the same thing that we have to go through. But to handle it in a way that we understand, to handle it in a way that we're able to really, again, to grow our faith.
So when you have, I'm sorry, before you say, I want to go, just mention something that we had said before the show, is you're involved with all these schools in this, throughout the 8 counties is what you said.
33 schools.
33 schools. So in that, and I think everyone is just interested in this part, is what is the difference between what FCA can be involved with between public and private schools? I mean, as far as what they can do.
Let me answer it like this. Out of all of those 33 different schools, not one, whether it be public or private or college, is the same. They are all unique. Can you guess why?
I would say just with the people. I mean, the different kids that are in there.
Yeah. Each people are different, and so where you have, and I will say it, there's been a lot of open doors in this community. And there's been a lot of really just great participation into that, just being able to understand and bring the message of FCA onto the campus. So it's not private, public, any of that. And that's the beautiful thing about sports.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you look at the diversity of a locker room. It doesn't matter whether it's public or private, and that's part of, like, even as we go into like the leadership aspect that'll be doing a reload this Saturday. We'll have private, public, girls, guys, black, white. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's sport and faith. It bridges like none other. It bridges people.
Yeah, Chris, I was going to ask you specifically what sort of, having that overview there, kind of zooming down a little bit, what sort of things are you actually, doing in the schools, or meeting with coaches or meeting with the players? Can you give us a little bit of details about that, about what kind of your day-to-day is?
There is no typical day in the life of an FCA representative, because it's really dependent on people, but I'll say it like this: I try to get to the campuses as much as I can. There is a lot of admin work into that. There is a lot of not only working in the ministry but on the ministry aspects into that. We have
Well, I guess you're not guaranteed that they're going to be receptive to you. Have you found that most coaches?
Most are. I mean, and ideally, you want to meet a coach that is and there's different levels to this, and ideally, you would the warmer the reception, the greater the open door that I've received is a coach that understands that he, first and foremost, he's a Christian. It's and then he's a coach. And I believe that's to be a calling versus a coach who just happens to be a Christian. It's two different mindsets. Two different thought processes, two different ways that you live your life, two different ways coaching styles. And so, but those are the greatest differences that I've seen. But one of the things that we started last year, and it was really, I think it's a great community win, is I wanted to start something for the coaches. And so we started what I call a coaches huddle. We do it once a month, as long as school is in semester, and we do it, I believe it's the first Tuesday of every month. And so, the second Tuesday of every month. And area coaches come together. We do it like in the mornings from 6 to 7. and we'll just have breakfast for them. We'll just break down the word. Maybe a coach will speak. We've had Tommy Clopton come in and speak last May, and really he was just talking about on even real life applicable stuff. It was like, what is it like to coach your own son? He can speak from that. And what are some wins in that? Where we can clarify some wins, but also what are some struggles into that? And so think of it like a small group or a connect group or an honor group, whatever you want to call that. Think of it like that for the coaches, just to be able to build relationships with each other, to let them understand that they're not on the island. They may be going through something, but another coach may be walking through that same thing that they're going through, and they can encourage each other. They can build up each other in the faith. And so it's been a great win. We're actually getting ready to do another one on September the 11th. As we're going to be meeting at First Baptist at 6 in the morning, and I've got my multi-area director is going to be coming down from Jackson, and he's been with FCA for about 7 years, and he was also a former coach too. Played a little baseball at Brookhaven and some other colleges, and but excited about what that looks like, and just be able to encourage our coaches. So those are some things that we're doing. Students, again, we're doing a student leadership training where we've reached out to some of the FCA, some of the local schools, and to where I'm really being intentional about focusing on student leadership. Last year we had one school ended up bringing 14 student athletes from their school. While that's great, it's not always about the numbers. And so what I want to do is bring it down just a little bit, downshift a little bit, to where I'm focusing on the leadership of maybe 2 to 4 within that group, and then they take that back to their campus and pour and invest into there, because I really believe that leadership is caught more than it is taught. So I want to make sure that they're getting around some solid leaders. So we'll have some people there.
Yeah, that's great. What the folks that are listening, if this sounds like a ministry that they feel like they want to get behind, what are some needs and what are some ways people can get involved in this?
There are so many different ways, what I would just encourage you can reach out to me, and just hey, we can see. There's different levels to it, and whether it be through if somebody wants to be a character coach, where they go in and maybe speak to a team. And just really develop, come alongside these coaches and say, hey, we want to develop some of these girls, some of these guys, and again, be another voice that comes alongside these coaches, because these guys and girls can hear these coaches' voice from time to time over and over again, but you let somebody else come inside and they may say the exact same thing, but all of a sudden it's like they spoke something for the very first time. It's like,
right, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. And the coach's like, I've been saying that for 6 months, man. What are you talking about? But it's just that repetition.
Yeah.
It's just that repetition. Some people plant seeds, some people water the seeds, and sometimes the harvest comes in at different times.
Yeah.
So.
So is there anything else real quick before we take a break?
I think let's take a break. Come
Yeah.
back and wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's great information.
Can you hang out just for a few minutes? Okay, cool. Let's take another quick 2-minute break. We're going to be right back with Sports Buzz right here on B92. Stay tuned.
Hello, this is Lavelle Sullivan with Sullivan Ford Lincoln. For 25 years, the Sullivan name's been known for the best service and sales experience anywhere. It's true that price sells, but the service and respect that you get here sells cars to generations of families. At Sullivan's, price and value are important, but what's more important to us is that your family comes back to see us for all of your vehicle needs. So come in or shop us online at SullivanFordLincoln.com. Sullivan Ford Lincoln, we're better, we're proving it, and we want you to be the judge. Exit 40, Brookhaven.
Looking for a place to catch the game on Saturdays? Come visit Magnolia Blues BBQ Company in Brookhaven. With large TVs all around, you can order from a full menu with the best and the biggest nachos in town. Enjoy Wednesday open mic and live music on the weekends. Let Magnolia Blues take care of your next catering event. Open Monday through Friday 3 to 10 and Saturday 2 to 10. Magnolia Blues BBQ in Brookhaven, 505 West Monticello Street.
Hunters, entice the big deer onto your food plots with Buckbuster seed mixes. You'll find the right mix perfect for seasonal or year-round forage production. It's specifically formulated for the Southeast, and they are the most complete and cost-effective seed mixes available. BuckbusterSeedCompany.com. Hunters, your food plots will be frequent stops for deer when you plant Buckbuster seed mixes. And the young deer will grow to be trophy bucks with proper nutrition from Buckbuster seeds. Find out what's in it and where you can get it at BuckbusterSeedCompany.com.
There is no better place to get all your local and complete pharmacy needs than at Clint's Pharmacy in Brookhaven. Come inside and visit the best greeting card selection in town, with all cards just 99 cents. But those days you are in a hurry, you can use Clint's convenient and fast drive-thru line. Now inside Clint's Pharmacy is Complete Family Medical, a clinic that takes walk-ins to get you in and out. Clint's Pharmacy, 201 Highway 51 North, Brookhaven. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, and Saturday, 8 to noon.
Welcome back to Sports Buzz on B92.1 here in the studio this Monday afternoon. We're finishing up with Chris Huffman, the head of District 7 of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And so we're kind of getting on the topic of how folks can get involved, Chris. And as it comes up, like we were talking about, the ministry costs money just like everything else. And I know that there's a lot of folks that probably would, if they knew about this, would want to come along and support you. So is there a contact number, or where do they go from here if they're listening to on the radio?
Yeah, one of the things that we just want to present an opportunity, and I truly believe that it's better to give than to receive, because whenever we understand that thought process, it's better to give than to receive. We're so blessed, whenever we do that, whenever we start to give that spirit of generosity. And so there's again many different ways to give, whether it be time, talent, and treasures. One thing that we do is we try to meet the real life needs of some of these players. We understand how, especially these football players, and hitting this 2-a-days, and man, they just want some Gatorade, at the end of a hot practice. And so we come alongside and we set up a tent, and we'll go out there and bless them with some Gatorade, and again, just come alongside, or even sponsoring kids to student leaders, to leadership camp at Belhaven, even sending coaches and their spouses to a coach's timeout, to where they just invest in their family. And hey, they just spend a weekend just date night and getting away just from the kids for a little bit, which what we typically do for Martin Luther King weekend. And last year we had 8 from our area that went, and they had a great time. So, but we just love to present. When I say all that, but we just want to present opportunities for people to invest into our community, into our coaches, into our student athletes. And so the best way to do that is you can go online to fca.org, and you can actually enter my name in as an area representative or as staff. You can actually search it by staff, and then you can come alongside as an automatic monthly partner. And whether some people that I have on my home team give $25 a month to $500 or whatever they feel led to give. So that's just one of the things that's just between them and God. So we always want to give them the opportunity, again, to invest, because we understand that.
Yeah, great information.
That's great.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight, Chris. We love hearing about all the opportunities that all these athletes have as far as just being in ministry and being involved in that type of field. And it sounds like you're doing a great job. Sounds like you're enjoying yourself too over everything.
We're loving it.
So, again, thank you so much. We'll do another quick shout out for all those websites and things like that at the end of our show when we wrap up, just to make sure that we're giving that out to you again. But, again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being our first guest on the show.
What an honor, what a privilege.
Yes. Thanks,
I look
Chris.
forward to coming back and hang out with you guys soon.
All righty.
Chris.
Thank you
Great
so
to meet
much,
you.
Chris. Appreciate it. So I guess we'll just roll right into our next segment is college right now. And then we will kind of pick up from there. What do you got for us, Ryan?
Yeah, so this week obviously was a big week in college football.
It was fun.
Yeah,
Right? It was fun to actually
it
be
was.
able to turn on the TV, and there was a game on from, I think, Thursday night until tonight.
Yeah.
It was still a game tonight.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I was going to try to hit on the local teams here first. Colin opened up.
It was Thursday. They opened on Thursday night?
Thursday night.
Yeah, they played Thursdays.
They played the Holmes Bulldogs, and was that a home game? Do you guys? I think that may have been an away game for them.
Colin,
It was home.
it was home.
Was a home game?
It opened up,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, kind of lost a tough one there. Colin was up at 21-13 at halftime, but I didn't get to see the game or didn't get to hear it on the radio, but just kind of reading the Holmes County had a really good defense and kind of played ball control in the second half and wound up winning by a 40-yard field goal with 34 seconds left in the game. So
40 yards. That's something you need right there. You don't win off of stuff like that when it's that high or that deep.
Yeah, I think it may have been a little bit of a disappointment knowing that, how stacked Colin was going into this
Sure.
game, especially on the offensive side. But hopefully they'll be able to kind of clean some things up and get back on track there. Their next game is this coming Thursday, September 6th, 6:30 at Boonville. And I believe those games are on 104.3 FM, so I'll be
Magic
trying to...
104.
Yeah, Magic 104. Southwest, they opened up at home against the Northeast Mississippi Tigers. They came out with a 33-28 win, so that was a good way for Coach Stowers, who his first year at the helm there at Southwest opened up with a win. Their next game is another home game at 7 p.m. this coming Thursday against Northwest Mississippi. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns
That's
out.
Northwest Community College out of Oxford.
I don't really know.
We'll be all surprised when it comes out this week, won't we? We'll all find out together about it.
Yeah, more will be revealed later. Yes, on that one.
I didn't mean to stump you there, Doc. I thought we were just going to kind of keep it flowing.
Yeah.
All right.
USM, this was another game I really tried to find on the TV, but I couldn't. I've recently switched from...
USM rarely gets broadcast. I would imagine since they're not that big. I'm guessing here as myself. I mean, will they be?
Yeah, it seemed like they had a little...
Be careful.
Be careful.
I do not know.
It seemed like they had a stretch where I could find them on there, but I don't know. Maybe it was being a Saturday night and there was so much else going
Probably
on.
with all with every game opening up Saturday night. I think there was more of a.
They had from what I heard or read, they had a great game, and Clopton played well.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to see was how he did, and we just real proud of him being from the community here, starting there as a true freshman. I knew they would beat JSU, but they really just blew them out, which was kind of, I don't guess a surprise, but they did have kind of a quarterback shakeup, so they have kind of a guy that was really the backup going into spring training, Abraham, a sophomore, that was their starting quarterback,
right.
And he was slinging it all over the field. I mean, they had some really talented receivers, so they came up with a big win. So, and
that kind of brings up a good point. I don't mean to throw you off your game again, but we were talking a little bit before the show, and I guess this might be a good segue in for Trey here in a minute. But all those early season games, those season kickoffs for colleges are usually what they call tune-up games or easy games. But according to Trey, Ole Miss had Texas Tech.
That was really
not a tune-up game.
And I'm not going to ever sit here and say, the Rebels for the last few seasons, okay, they have had a pretty decent game starting. They started off, I think, and some of them have not gone so well, right? But it's nice to play a team. Now, neither the Rebels nor the Red Raiders were ranked going into this game. Ole Miss was underdogs.
I found that a little surprising. I mean,
I think everybody's trying to figure out, what is, besides the Ole Miss, trying to figure out kind of what they've got. But we talked about a few things on the show. Number one, the defense was better at times, but the issues that we brought up last week were prevalent, right? We gave up some big plays, still gave up 457 yards. On the offense, if you watch the Michigan game, Shea Patterson playing for Michigan,
no buyer's remorse there.
No buyer's remorse there. Jordan played a great game, and Scotty Phillips, as mentioned right here on Sports Buzz, had over 200 yards rushing, and I think it's been a long time since the Rebels had over 200 yards rushing.
Yeah. We were talking about that last week, being hopefully.
I got one more little point.
Please go ahead.
No. I want you to finish. I just wanted to let you know before you.
We were just mainly talking about how we were expecting that from Ole Miss, is that the running game needed to be there, and if that's how it's going, I'm looking for. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not a fan of Ole Miss. I mean, like they're the team to root for here in Mississippi, I think, but. I'm glad that they're opening up and getting a good running game, because I mean that's half of it. You can't depend solely on the air, and you can't solely depend on the run. So if they haven't been that way, it's glad to see that they're getting it there now.
I mean, it's early, and the Rebs can hurt your feelings really bad, especially when you start talking good about them.
When you jinx them.
I'm not trying to jinx them, but they looked better than I thought they would. How about that? And I'll say this: it was 47 points, and we got 47 points in the first game of Tony the Land Shark, who's number 47, right? The whole fine thing. He was number 47, so a little bit of juju out there. We'll take it. Rebs come home this weekend to face one of those little warm-up games.
By the way, we will have full SEC schedules covered at the end of the show too. For who all's playing, so we'll go over it one more time too. So what else you got for us, Ryan?
Yeah, so I guess flipping gears to MSU a little bit, I guess they had a Trey's Mind a little warm-up game there that they warmed up pretty well to, I'd say. They won 63-6, which I don't guess was anybody's surprise. I did watch a little bit of this game, was kind of in and out, and
it was on TV.
Yeah, it was on TV. I was able to find this one. There was one series where it seemed like, about two series when the defensive line, when the starters were in, there was about two series where every play was either a tackle for a loss or a sack. And I really kind of got the sense of, and I guess it's kind of hard to tell, what are you comparing them to, this other team? So don't want to draw too many conclusions, but so far from the information we have now, I would say the defensive line is living up to the hype. So we'll see how that pans out. Interesting, there was a little bit of talk, with Nick Fitzgerald, and some people may or may not think that he could be a Heisman candidate this year. If being
wait, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah. If being,
I almost choked on my water.
If being out this game could have hurt his chances there with losing, the ability to kind of rack up some stats, which I think are frequently looked at. So, but it's going to be a high-powered offense. I think Penn State.
Just taking a completely objective view, it would absolutely hurt a campaign to miss a game like that.
Yeah, because I think the offense is going to, have a much different flavor than it's had in the past, and you could see that from watching the game. Of course, the offensive line, every snap had the other team's defensive line blown back 5 or 7 yards. So I mean, every rushing play was 7 to 9 yards too. But I think when they get in situations where they really need to show that, and I think Penn State really, interestingly, and Joe Moorhead's absence. Appalachian State, that's
a good point.
They struggled
with their warm-up.
they struggled with their warm up. So we'll see how that pans out.
For Bulldog fans, what a great thing to take away from the game. Obviously, it was a blowout, but to take away is that your team, though the competition wasn't there, your team is executing on fundamentals, right? You don't
glorified practice.
Yeah, you don't score 63 points making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
I don't care who you're playing.
It's kind of hard to draw a lot of conclusions, I guess, because it doesn't prove that you're a top 10 or top 5 team. But if you are a top 5 or top 10 team, that's kind of how you play against a team like this.
I think it's one of those things where you treat every opponent, the same. I mean, if you're gonna have these obstacles like that, to where it is, it could be a blowout like that. You want to give some other players to play and kind of see what else you're working with, especially that early in the season. But across the board, from high school, pro, and college, if you're going to go blowout, use the time to work on fundamentals. Last week our show was all about defense. If the defensive line seems to be where they're at from Mississippi State, more power to them if they're going to use that time to do it. So, of course.
Another interesting game that I watched little of, but the part I did, it looked like it was getting out of hand within the first or second quarter, was LSU and Miami.
Tigers.
And I couldn't tell whether that was Miami being overrated or if LSU was actually as good as they were looking out there, because...
By out of hand, what do you mean? It was just it got away from Miami early on?
It just never really looked like Miami ever had a chance.
Miami didn't look... They just... I don't know how to say it other than to say it, but they just didn't look ready. They didn't... they kind of looked like a Georgia team from a few years ago that just fell short when they in big games.
Right.
I mean, that was a big game. Yeah, it's the first game of the season, but they just didn't look ready. And lo and behold, Coach O had the Tigers ready. They were ready.
Yeah. And the quarterback was throwing the ball great, which I think that's been kind of a missing element for LSU. But we'll see.
Did anybody lose in the SEC West?
My team didn't.
I don't know.
They did not.
They did not.
I think we got across the board. I think it was pretty successful as far as the SEC goes.
Every SEC West team looked good.
Yeah, and if that's time to do it, if you're going to come out of the gate, first game, got to do it. So, what else we got, Ryan? Anything else coming up?
Didn't really watch much of the Alabama game, but I guess I did see something that sounded interesting, that Nick Saban's interview with a reporter went viral.
That was something that I remember reading.
He apologized.
Which I kind of see. I kind of see where he's coming from. It's like they're wanting him to...
They're trying to trap him.
Coax him into something.
They're trying to trap him into saying something bad about one of the quarterbacks.
I know.
He's trying not to do it. And,
right.
It's an unfair situation, I think.
Didn't that kid Hurts win a national championship for him as a true freshman? What is he?
How long's he been there?
What's he going to?
Really?
Why? How is he going to say something bad about that?
Exactly.
Person?
And if you go, even if you take the sports out of, the moral thing to do is to not be coaxed by some reporter that's going to do that. Anyway.
But I guess that's all the high points I had from college. Did you guys have anything else?
I think that's about it. I don't want to say anything, but my Razorbacks did well this week. Ty Story, who came in, he had 4 touchdowns, 3 from the air and 1 on the ground, and that's Chad Morris's first victory after being hired this coming into the first season. Him being a brand new coach to SEC this year. Coming in, they score. Razorbacks beat Eastern Illinois 55-20. But the good thing is, out of those 4 touchdowns, Ty Story threw 3 of them. So we've also got a good show of air game there from the Razorbacks too, which we haven't had in a long time either. Yeah. So that's all I'll say about the Razorbacks, and we can move on. Okay.
Well, interestingly today, Urban Meyer shows up. And he has the control of the team all the way until the game, right? So that was part of his suspension. Is he shows up at work this morning, and he runs the practices and runs the team all week, and then turns the keys back over, I guess, on Friday night. So that'll be interesting to watch for the next 2 weeks. Ohio State did just fine without him.
All right, we'll be right back here for our last segment here on Sports Buzz on B92.1.
There is no better place to get all your local and complete pharmacy needs than at Clint's Pharmacy in Brookhaven. Come inside and visit the best greeting card selection in town, with all cards just 99 cents. But those days you are in a hurry, you can use Clint's convenient and fast drive-through line. Now inside Clint's Pharmacy is Complete Family Medical, a clinic that takes walk-ins to get you in and out. Clint's Pharmacy, 201 Highway 51 North, Brookhaven. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, and Saturday, 8 to noon.
Hello, I'm Lavelle Sullivan with Quick Lane Tire and Auto. If you're looking for a place to service your vehicle, then Quick Lane has you covered. We service all makes and models, whether you're driving a Dodge, a Chevy, Toyota, or a Jeep. We're open on Saturdays, and we're authorized dealer for 13 brands of tires. We offer 90 days same as cash, and no appointment is ever necessary. If you need tires, brakes, batteries, or just an oil change, then Quick Lane's your place. Quick Lane Tire and Auto, next to Walmart, Brookhaven.
Looking for a place to catch the game on Saturdays? Come visit Magnolia Blues BBQ Company in Brookhaven. With large TVs all around, you can order from a full menu with the best and the biggest nachos in town. Enjoy Wednesday open mic and live music on the weekends. Let Magnolia Blues take care of your next catering event. Open Monday through Friday, 3 to 10, and Saturday, 2 to 10. Magnolia Blues BBQ in Brookhaven, 505 West Monticello Street.
Deer hunters, looking for the best fall seed mix on the market? Buckbusters has 36% protein, contains 8 varieties of winter forage in the basic mix, and 11 varieties in the premium mix. One bag does 1 acre. It's specifically formulated for the Southeast. Contact your local seed dealer or Buckbusters at buckbusterseedcompany.com or call toll-free 1-800-562-4570. Buckbusters, the most complete and cost-effective seed mixes available.
All right, guys, here we are. Welcome back to Sports Buzz. Let's dive into what's going on in professional sports. All right, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
and we're going to tread into this topic that's been going on for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, 2 years.
In the NFL. So Nike today. I don't even know if the ad's out. I've seen the color of the ad. If you were on Google News or even saw anything today, you saw it. But there is a Colin Kaepernick ad coming out that basically says, "I'm willing to give up everything for what I believe in." Yeah. And it's the return of the Nike "Just Do It" tagline. So interesting. Way for Nike to thrust their brand into conversation, because I think
controversy,
which proves that we're sitting here in Brookhaven, Mississippi, talking about Nike. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly what they want. But I do think it's interesting, the whole national anthem debate, and then to use such rhetoric about giving up everything, giving up a $15 million quarterback job. Is that what he did?
I don't think he knew he was doing that, right?
I don't think he knew he was doing that.
I don't think it was that complicated in the end. I mean, honestly, I don't think it was. I think it was showboating a little bit at first, but then
I think it turned into something that he didn't necessarily intend to it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I mean. I don't think he didn't mean for it to get this big almost.
But I guess as long as you have some company willing to pay you large amounts of money for endorsements after you do something ill-advised, it's probably okay to go do it like him.
Yeah. Well, and so the conversation that I listened to, I think it was on ESPN radio this afternoon. They've been paying him for a couple years without an ad, kind of waiting.
Oh, kind of waiting for opportunity.
And they did the same thing, with Tiger. They kind of took Tiger's ads back for a little while, but they kept paying him.
Yeah.
So that they could
kind of keep him in the family there.
Yeah, keep it in the family. So, interesting strategy there. Obviously, it's going to work for him as far as getting the rhetoric. But it does it solve anything? It absolutely does not. And does kneeling during the national anthem? I personally find it disrespectful.
Of course.
I think that it's the wrong platform to use for anybody to protest, just simply because of what the flag means to our country and for those who did risk everything. And that's the thing that I take offense to as far as the ad is that they say risk everything, and you're talking about the national anthem.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not putting on boots and grabbing guns and going overseas.
To give a little kudos to Nike, though, I love the Serena Williams ad. I don't know if anybody saw that this week. And it's an amazing ad. It's very emotional. It shows her dad teaching her as a child, saying, I want you to serve it like you're serving in the U.S. Open. And you got a 7-year-old kid throwing the ball up and serving it, and then it flashes to a real serve at the U.S. Open, and he kept saying these things, and it would flash back and forth between her as a kid, and then it says, it's the Nike ad, and it just says, it all seems like fun and games until you really do it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Very
These
cool.
are brand new ads that air, the Kaepernick aired today, and the Serena Williams aired last week?
I think, I don't want to misspeak, but I think that the Nike ad with Kaepernick is a print ad. So it's a print. So you'll see it in print. And then the Serena ad, I've not seen it on TV. I saw it on the internet. But let's move through the NFL, into the NFL. So the best player on the Oakland Raiders, obviously, is Khalil Mack, and he's been traded to the Chicago Bears. All right?
Why is that?
Well, I mean, they just couldn't come to terms with him. He signed a $141 million extension with the Bears, $90 million in guaranteed.
They didn't have the cheese, huh?
I don't know. So the Raiders get a first round in 2019 and 2020. They get a third round in 2020 and a sixth round in 2019 as well. Now, I mean, what is Chicago doing here? I mean, is this the missing piece? If I'm a Raiders fan, I'm cheering against Colorado because against the Bears, because those picks become a lot more valuable the worse the Bears do. Personally, I don't think it does anything for the Bears.
Yeah,
I don't think that it's going to make them a perennial winner. It improves their offense, but they have, they got some suspect cornerbacks as it is. So they're going to have a great pass rusher, but I don't know what that does overall. Obviously, the Bears think it's a missing piece.
Yeah, I guess you would think that wouldn't be a decision that somebody just in the executive box was making, that Gruden was okay with that. You think that, I guess that can get complicated, but that he would rather a first-round pick than that player?
Well, I think initially, if you're Gruden, your tendency is to win. Right, and the Oakland's in an interesting situation because they'll be the Las Vegas Raiders in 2 years. And so you look at this sort of trade out here, and it's like, okay, I just signed up for a 10-year deal, Gruden. I've got a little time. Why don't you give me some picks?
Yeah.
And let me build my team. And it's almost like building for the Raiders, for the Las Vegas team. That's how it looks to me in my simple-minded view. All right. We've telegraphed this over the last few weeks.
Yeah, we have.
We've telegraphed this.
Developing each week.
We started this when Chad Kelly was the third string quarterback. He is on the team.
He was jumping up like almost each week we had a show.
That's right. That's right.
Like each day we come back.
Is he the starter now?
He's not the starter. But he's on the team, and Paxton Lynch was released. So there you go. Obviously, one of Elway's bigger picks.
Yeah.
Released. Also, the Giants released what has been the backup quarterback for the last 2 years for Eli, Davis Webb. So
they say for what?
They kept the other two quarterbacks. So they're keeping three quarterbacks, and they released Davis Webb, which everyone thought was the backup.
Yeah.
So there must be some things there that we as typical fans just don't see or understand. But Davis Webb is moving on. Now, I know Paxton Lynch is doing a workout for the Bills. I haven't heard anything about Davis Webb.
I was a little disappointed. I heard that the Saints signed Bridgewater from the Vikings and are going to have him as the number 2 quarterback. Remember we talked about Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
I think he's going to be number 3, but he's going to be a special team starter. So I guess they couldn't really reconcile having the backup be the number 1 on special teams.
And I think that for the Saints have a real opportunity here. I think this season to to go deep or go all the way. And, you bring in a quarterback like Terry Bridgewater. Would there be some fall off from Drew Brees? I do think there would probably be some fall off, but Terry Bridgewater could get it done.
Yeah.
Terry Bridgewater could get it done.
With all the other pieces around.
With all the other pieces. And so I think that's why they you bring in a guy like that, personally. So Sam Darnold, number one, the quarterback for the Jets, drafted in the first round this year, who really most people thought was going to go to the Giants if they hadn't taken Saquon Barkley, is starting for the Jets. Nick Foles is starting for in Philadelphia. To me, what this means, the Carson Wentz situation is worse than we thought. He should. Wasn't it a collarbone? I don't remember what exactly his injury was last year. It might have been something, but for whatever reason, he's not cleared for contact. So
it's got to be collarbone man up in that area.
But it's just like it's been too long. Like something else it's a miss. If I were a Philadelphia fan, I'd want to know it. I want to know more. I want more.
Want some answers?
I want to know more.
Want some answers.
You need a reality show to kind of go through all that.
Le'Veon Bell is still absent from the Steelers.
I tell you, Le'Veon Bell, he was on my fantasy team last year, and I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. He hasn't showed up for practice, or he's not showed up. So obviously they're moving on without him. Hey, I think we need to take another 2-minute break. Hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back here on B92.1 Sports Buzz.
Hunters, entice the big deer onto your food plots with Buckbuster seed mixes. You'll find the right mix perfect for seasonal or year-round forage production. It's specifically formulated for the Southeast, and they are the most complete and cost-effective seed mixes available. BuckbusterSeedCompany.com. Hunters, your food plots will be frequent stops for deer when you plant Buckbuster seed mixes. And the young deer will grow to be trophy bucks with proper nutrition from Buckbuster seeds. Find out what's in it and where you can get it at BuckbusterSeedCompany.com.
There is no better place to get all your local and complete pharmacy needs than at Clint's Pharmacy in Brookhaven. Come inside and visit the best greeting card selection in town, with all cards just 99 cents. But those days you are in a hurry, you can use Clint's convenient and fast drive-thru line. Now inside Clint's Pharmacy is Complete Family Medical, a clinic that takes walk-ins to get you in and out. Clint's Pharmacy, 201 Highway 51 North, Brookhaven. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, and Saturday, 8 to noon.
Hello, this is Lavelle Sullivan with Sullivan Ford Lincoln. For 25 years, the Sullivan name's been known for the best service and sales experience anywhere. It's true that price sells, but the service and respect that you get here sells cars to generations of families. At Sullivan's, price and value are important, but what's more important to us is that your family comes back to see us for all of your vehicle needs. So come in or shop us online at SullivanFordLincoln.com. Sullivan Ford Lincoln, we're better, we're proving it, and we want you to be the judge. Exit 40, Brookhaven.
Looking for a place to catch the game on Saturdays? Come visit Magnolia Blues BBQ Company in Brookhaven. With large TVs all around, you can order from a full menu with the best and the biggest nachos in town. Enjoy Wednesday open mic and live music on the weekends. Let Magnolia Blues take care of your next catering event. Open Monday through Friday, 3 to 10, and Saturday, 2 to 10. Magnolia Blues BBQ in Brookhaven, 505 West Monticello Street.
All right, well, we're back here for our last segment, and just to wrap up the professional sports, Bryson DeChambeau has won the second tournament in a row, both of them FedEx playoff tournaments.
Wow.
So he's won back-to-back. I mean, guy's just playing off the chain. Quick Tiger update. Tiger played really pretty well this week, had his third putter in as many weeks. And the putter went away from him today. I did not see it, but he at one point he was kind of inching closer and seemed like he could get within range. But then he had some issues. I think he found the water on one of the last three holes. Ended up finishing 24th for the tournament. But the story is Bryson DeChambeau, right? Winning two tournaments. I think it's the first time that's happened. I'll have to look back, but I think it's the first time it's happened.
So are both of those guys going to be on the Ryder Cup team?
That was I don't know if that's been announced. It could be announced tonight.
Oh, okay.
It might have been announced while we're on the show. If you want to get your little Google machine out there, Doc, look that up for me. But it could be. Yes, it should be. I mean, he absolutely will be on it, and Tiger should be on it, and Phil Mickelson should be on it. And we'll see what happens with the third pick. Moving quickly to NASCAR, one more race before the playoffs start. Brad Keselowski in the Rusty Wallace throwback paint scheme won the Darlington Southern 500 last night. Did an excellent job. It was a great race. Kyle Larson led most of the race, and then, as typical for him, something happens in the last 25 laps where he just can't quite get it across the finish line. Yeah. So there's 2 spots left with 1 race to go in the playoff race. Jimmy Johnson and Alex Bowman are holding down those 2 spots. So if there's not a new winner, those guys will transfer in on points. That about wraps it up.
Wraps it up for pros. So that'll do it for the entire show here tonight. So before we wrap it up completely, we do want to cover some quick things real quick. We didn't get to do our game of the week tonight for high school because we didn't want to take anything away from Chris and the FCA. So the game of the week was BHS versus the South Pike Eagles. It was a great game. I got to be there. Final score was 33-28. It was one of those really fun Friday night atmosphere games where they had to come down the last 3 seconds.
You know something's going on when you hear that band kicking at about 9:45 at night. You're like, shouldn't this game be over?
It was really good. It was a back and forth offensive game because every time the offense would score, the other offense would score, but the defense was needed to be a little bit more there. They did well enough, but in the long haul, BHS did come out and was able to stop them in the last 4 seconds and bring that score 33-28. So before we sign off completely, we do have the schedule for you this week if you're wanting to find out and some more wrap-up information from everything that we had on the show tonight. So the SEC games this week: MSU at Kansas State, Vanderbilt versus Nevada, Georgia is at South Carolina, Alabama versus Arkansas State, Ole Miss versus Southern Illinois, Tennessee versus ETSU, Missouri versus Wyoming, LSU versus Southeastern Louisiana, Texas A&M versus Clemson, Auburn versus Alabama State, Arkansas is at Colorado State, and Florida is versus Kentucky.
Did you say Texas A&M Clemson?
Texas A&M is versus Clemson, so yes, it would be good.
That's got to be the game of the week.
I would imagine so, yeah. The upcoming high school games this week: Boca Chica is versus Mount Olive, Brookhaven High is at Macomb, Brookhaven Academy versus Silva Bay at home. That'll be the game of the week next Monday. I'll be at that game for you. Enterprise at Clarksdale, Lloyd Star at Weston, West Lincoln versus Pelahatchie. High school soccer, September 4th, Brookhaven Academy versus Laurel Christian. High school softball, September 4th, we got Brookhaven High versus Wingfield, Weston versus Hazelhurst, Brookhaven Academy at Clinton Christian. September 6th, then we got Brookhaven High at Boca Chica, Weston at Lawrence County, and Brookhaven Academy at Bowling Green. That is all your schedule for both the SEC and the high school games coming up this week. And Ryan's got a little information that he may want to shoot off for Chris one more time.
Oh, yeah, just to double back to that, for those looking to join Chris Huffman and his ministry at Fellowship of Christian Athletes, you can go to the website. He has an email, too, which is chuffman@fca.org, or you can go to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes website and actually search for Chris Huffman, and there'll be some more information there about how you can support Chris.
And I think that will wrap us up. Let's thank our sponsors one more time: Sullivan Ford, Lincoln, Buckbuster Seed Company, Clint's Pharmacy, and Magnolia Blues, which we'll be live from, coming back again next Monday for our show. We'll be back at Magnolia Blues, no problem at all. Doing it from here tonight, but we did miss them over there, so that is our sponsors there. Follow us on Twitter at SportsBuzzMS. Anything else before we sign off, guys?
No.
All right.
Can't wait for next week.
Yeah,
That's right.
Let's do. So for Sports Buzz, I'm Paden Phillips.
Ryan Case.
Trey Waterloo.
Thanks so much for joining us. You've been listening to Sports Buzz right here on B92. Have a great night, and happy Labor Day.
The legends of country music, country's newest stars. Now you don't have to choose because they're all right here.
WBKN FM, Brookhaven, B92.